Scabby
Podcast.
In an ancient hotel in room 142 lay two foolhardy fools with nothing to do. They sit and they ponder about movies they've seen while trapped in their room and stare at their TV screen. Sometimes they play songs on the instruments they've amassed. The Pinj and the Maggie on the Scabby Hayze Podcast.
Welcome to the Scabby Hayze Podcast. This is your co-host Maggie.
And this is your co-host Pinj.
Today we just finished watching
Hearts and Coronets from 1949.
It's an old British film.
Very British.
And so we're going to review it for you.
Yeah.
And the reviews are in, and it is a good movie.
Yeah, it is. I watched this last night, just kind of in preparation for today when we were going to record. We were originally going to watch Nacho Libre, but I was like, I'll watch this film before.
Nacho Libre?
Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre?
Nacho Libre. Anyways, but I decided to watch this film the night before, and I was like, you know what? We should watch this instead.
Yeah. It's not what I expected. At first, when you told me that it was from 1949, I didn't assume that it was a British movie, and I didn't assume that it was going to have so much humor in it.
What were you expecting?
I didn't know. From the title, it's hard to assume anything about the movie, but I thought it would probably be like a mystery crime kind of movie.
It is kind of.
It kind of was, but definitely not what I imagined. I thought it would be more serious. And it actually did have a lot of humor in it.
Yeah. Very dark humor.
Yeah, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
So
We should say that the film is about this young man who was born into this family of people who are earning a dukeship. I don't know.
He's about 12 ranks underneath the person next in line.
The family.
So basically the whole premise of the movie is him murdering off all the people in front of him so he can become Duke.
His the rest of the family does not believe that he even really exists or that he's part of the family, and he wants to get revenge because his mom died and she died a very poor death that they did not take care of her, any of that, and so it's kind of a revenge story. Also, a crime thriller, which is interesting. It feels like a detective noir film, sort of.
Yeah.
It's got that feel to it.
Yeah, it does. It could easily be made into a comic book.
It could, that, and you could set it in, like, the 40s or something.
It was
in, like, in America. No, it wasn't.
49.
49?
Well, set in... Oh, okay,
1940s.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Here's what I liked about the movie.
Right.
I liked the whole story. I liked the idea of it, the concept. I enjoyed the narrative throughout it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
It's done really well.
I liked that it was his memoirs that he was writing right before he was going to be executed. So he's narrating the whole thing to explain why he's innocent, but also why he's extremely guilty.
Yeah.
Which is funny and super ironic. Like he says, the irony of it is just incredible because he's being accused of a murder that he didn't commit when
he is absolutely a murderer of
but none of
many people.
None of the officials know that.
Yeah.
They don't realize that he killed all these other people.
Uh-huh.
Which is super funny.
Yeah.
Plus, all the little witty remarks. His vernacular is perfect, and he has the pomp of a...
Very sophisticated British.
Of a royal.
Yes. The
so
dialogue.
He's poetic.
Yeah.
In his...
speech mannerisms.
Yes.
The dialogue of this film, I think, is one of the... it's probably one of the best aspects of this film.
Yeah.
It's very intelligent and witty.
Right.
It's, I won't say expositional, but it tells a lot while still being very realistic. It doesn't feel like, oh, a writer wrote this.
Right.
As we said before, it's witty, it's intelligent, but it feels accurate.
It's such a good story.
Mm-hmm.
I love revenge stories like that.
Yeah.
And mystery, like murder mysteries and things like that.
It's cool to see that this movie it doesn't really have a protagonist. It's all antagonist.
Right, true.
Yeah, there is no real good person in this movie.
There's
or
no
hero.
hero.
Yeah. As enjoyable as the main character is to watch, he's still, like, this terrible person.
Yeah. Like...
Oh, yeah. It's been bad. Still keeping that up, by the way. It's on Twitter and such.
The like jar is being filled up.
Yeah, terribly.
The cinematography in the movie wasn't anything amazing or blow your mind, but it was simple
and effective.
And it fit the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was good.
As with a lot of movies during this time that it was made, the cinematography, as you said, is simple.
There are a lot of close-ups during conversations of people's faces. Not too many overhead shots of large pieces of scenery, aside from the castle. It did a couple shots of that, which are nice to get the whole picture.
Yeah.
Other than that, you can tell most of them are sets.
Yeah. I do like old movies like this, where it has such long takes.
Right.
And so where it has to keep your interest in, like you're having to focus.
Yes.
Hey, pay attention.
Yeah.
It's cool. And it's such a proof of how much people are working. Like the actors, they have to remember so much. It's not like say a few lines here, cut, different scene, cut,
right.
cut.
That's good if you have an extremely short attention span.
Yeah.
But if you want to pay attention,
like this film.
Right.
Like I was saying.
Then it engages you even though the scene is really long. So the movie started out basically how I imagined it was going to go. Aside from it being a British film, I heard their accents and I was like, oh, this is a British film.
They're a little hard to understand,
and then he begins his story, and the first thing that made me laugh and made me realize what kind of movie this was going to be, the humor and everything, was when his dad dies of a heart attack after seeing him born for the first time. I was like, what? And then once I saw Alec Guinness...
Oh, yeah.
I thought, oh, this is going to be a good movie. Because I really like Alec Guinness. He was great in Lady Killers. He
was good as Obi-Wan.
He was good as Obi-Wan. I didn't care for the old Star Wars, but he had a good character. And I just like his acting. His acting style, his humor, the way that he plays his characters. He's perfect at what he does. Yeah. Or what he did, unfortunately.
Yeah, I didn't tell Maggie Alec Guinness was in this film because I know she likes him so much. I skipped the credits at the beginning and we just started watching the film.
And I said, what?
Yeah.
And then when I realized, because the first time you see him, he's the character...
He's the young Descoin.
He's the young Descoin, which is the family that the main character is trying to kill off.
Louis.
And since he's the character that he's trying to kill off, I thought, oh, he's not going to be in very much of the movie. And then I realized he's every single Descoin character, even Lady Agnes? Is it? No.
Yes, I think it is.
Is it Agnes? No, it's like it's something.
Agatha.
Agatha, yes. Lady Agatha. Yeah. And he barely even talks as her.
Just breaking windows.
Yeah. Lady Agatha. It's like a lady suffragette, like trying to get women's rights. Just breaking windows.
Yeah. The second time watching this, I realized there is much more humor in this film than when I first originally thought. Like, there's subtle things, like in the scene with Lady Agatha. She's on the balloon, and she quickly pulls the string, and she flies up. And at the bottom, you can see just a bunch of policemen chasing the balloon.
Yeah. They're like running up to arrest her, and she leaves.
This movie is very different, but I like I enjoy its quirky, strange humor. It's dark humor.
Yeah, it's very quirky, but those kind of movies are very unique.
Yes. And
I think you must have to enjoy a kind of humor for that.
Definitely.
Yeah. There's just something different about British humor. Yeah. It's very dark, but it's those little witty remarks with the sophisticated and almost arrogant attitude.
Behind you.
That are a little bit demeaning or...
Insultive?
Yeah. Just throw around little witty insolence. You know, it's funny.
And I enjoy how much there is going on beyond the dialogue.
Right.
You can tell that there's motives behind all of their thoughts and ideas, and even what they speak, they can be, like, two-timing.
And just the emotions that the main character shows when he's talking to members of the family and Sabella and people that he is close to, and keeping up his lies, but knowing beneath all of his motives and all
what he's done before.
Yeah, right. It's interesting to watch him have to cover up lie after lie after lie. But he did it well up until the end.
Yep.
And he made one little blunder, and then the movie ends, and we don't see what happens afterward, but of course.
He was most likely caught.
Yeah. And then definitely hanged.
Yeah. For about, 8 murders? 8, 12? Somewhere around there.
Yeah, something like that.
Quite a few.
I thought it was 12. Well, some of them...
I think
they were... Right, and he didn't actually murder them. Like...
They died of old age. Or just something.
Right. His employer.
Yeah.
Died of...
A stroke.
Stroke and shock.
Heart attack.
Yeah. The part where he visits the preacher.
Oh, yeah.
And he asks him to say in whatever language. What is that? Like a chant? Like, it's not really a chant.
What did he call
it's
it?
Like, it's like a dialect or something.
Marillion?
Malibu or
something. Marillion? I can't remember. Something like that.
He's like, his expression.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? Not what I...
Alec Guinness does really well in this movie, as he does in most of his roles.
His expressions are hilarious. And he can take on so many different personalities.
It's awesome.
And make them work.
Though I haven't seen it, M. Night Shyamalan Split with James McAvoy. People praise it for like, oh, such good acting. He's able to portray so many. But it's interesting to see that way back in 49, Alec Guinness was doing the exact same thing.
Right.
Playing a bunch of different characters.
Well, lots of people did that. Although not all of them did it well.
Yeah.
Peter Sellers did it. He did it well.
In Doctor Strangelove.
Right. And just his whole acting career, he was always somebody different. He had different accents, different movements, different personalities.
That's true. He had a wide range.
And somebody who did not do it well, but did it in a movie where he was all of the characters, was Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, in Family Jewels.
And I'm definitely not a big fan of Jerry Lewis in general, but with that movie, it's
done to a stupid humor.
It's just Jerry Lewis putting on a bunch of costumes, basically. Yeah.
In this movie, it's done intelligently, where it is a joke, but it's not shoving it in your face. Yeah. Oh, it's so many different people.
Yeah.
It's
subtle.
This movie is very subtle in its humor. It's not glaringly constant.
It's almost like it wants you to not think that it's humorous.
Yes.
It wants you to think that it's, something that this character is feeling.
Happening.
Yeah, it's just happening in real life.
Even though it is hysterical to us.
And it is possible that somebody could watch this movie and not think that it's funny and not even notice the humor in it.
Mm-hmm. If you don't have a dark sense of humor, you probably won't find this movie that funny.
Right, but you could still enjoy it if you enjoy
a good story.
Yeah, murder mysteries and crime.
This movie isn't that much of a mystery. There's not much.
Yeah, that's true.
There's not much of suspense in it. A little bit.
Well, there's not many open-ended storylines within the story because he's telling you what's happening.
Yeah.
And so everything that is a secret that he's being kept inside of him is shown to us, just not anyone around him.
And I'm not sure if the movie did it intentionally, but it is interesting to think of how you also, along with the main character, have to keep track of who knows what.
Yeah.
And do they know that he's a murderer? Or do they just,
Right.
Do they just believe his lies? Or how far does it go?
Now, one thing I didn't really care for in the movie was Isabella. I don't know if it's Isabella or
Sabella.
Okay, Sabella. Yeah, they say her name weird.
Mm-hmm.
But she's supposed to be unlikable.
Yeah, very much so. Unpleasant.
Right.
Despicable.
Yeah, pretty much. Basically just despicable. So I think they portrayed her character very well, and she acted it out very well.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a character that you weren't supposed to like.
Yeah, for the most part, this movie is well acted. There are times where it's a little off, but I would say for the most part it is well, especially Alec Guinness in the main character.
Oh yeah,
they do very well.
Alec Guinness is always, his acting game is super high.
Mm-hmm.
So where would you rank it?
Oh gosh, well out of Inception to Fantastic Four, it's gotta be around. I don't know. It is hard. It's a good movie. I would give it.
What's a movie that you would liken it to?
Lady Killers for its quirky humor.
Right, and because Alec Guinness stars
Yeah,
in
that
it.
too.
I think certain actors just kind of, they find a movie style or humor that works for them.
And they're able to fit it so well.
Right, and then there's a whole genre of movies that they're acting in that give that humor and that style.
Peter Lorre, for one,
Yes.
always has a constant.
If you
creepy guy role.
want to watch a creepy movie with a very believable creepy character in it, you're gonna watch Peter Lorre.
Yeah.
Like a movie with Peter Lorre in it,
Yeah.
because he's going to do it very well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another genre for the kind of movies that Alec Guinness acts in. I'm not entirely sure what it would be. That dark humor.
Mm-hmm. Quirky.
Yeah.
Strange. Though he does well in other roles. I would say some of his best work is definitely in that section.
Yeah, I think probably I would liken it to Lady Killers as well.
It is. I could be wrong, but I think it quite original. I can't think of that much else that is similar to it.
As far as the storyline goes, it's pretty original.
Mm-hmm. This movie reminded me when I finished it of Sherlock Holmes.
Oh,
the
okay.
original books by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. You could feel I feel as though you could put Sherlock Holmes somewhere in there, and it would be like a great mystery where he's trying to figure it out.
True.
This guy murdered all of them, and
True.
nobody knows. I don't know.
It would be. They could potentially redo this movie from
that perspective.
And
it would work well.
And you'd be completely in the dark about did he really kill these people, or which ones did he actually kill, and is he actually guilty of the last murder? And that would also work.
Mm-hmm. It could just be also the 1800s, late 1800s aspect of it that it does well.
Oh, true. I like movies set back in time, though. I like all the clothing.
Yeah.
And the speech. And the etiquette.
Very much
that
so.
people had back then. That people actually had manners. And respect for each other. And I really enjoy.
I don't know about respect in this movie.
Oh, no, there is.
A little bit.
Yeah.
They're very sophisticated, but they're still
right. They're
a lot
sophisticated
of them are
about it, though. I mean, at least they try to hide,
Yeah.
their hatred of each other. I call that a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, it's debatable.
I like it in movies set back in time, though.
Yeah, I figured you'd like this movie. I wasn't entirely sure, but yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Where would you rank it? What would you what's it better than?
It's hard to pit it against a movie that I really like. Even though I really liked this movie, I also really like, Captain America. But they're so different from each other. They're not even in the same realm of possibility. And
no relation, really.
Right. So what I would first have to do is liken it to another movie and then base what I think on it off of that. Which would be, I guess, Lady Killers?
Probably. You could just do it or rank it for entertainment value, which I would say this goes pretty high.
Right.
Pretty high up. So I certainly would not call this film my favorite film or anything like that.
No, it's not my favorite, but I would definitely watch it again.
Yeah.
So I would probably put it... I don't know.
Above Fantastic Four.
Definitely, yeah, but I would put pretty much anything above Fantastic Four.
Okay, then let me give you, like, a scoring system.
I put Batman and Robin above Fantastic Four. That's how you know how bad that movie is.
It was bad. Okay, out of a 10, what would you give Kind Hearts and Coronets?
I'd probably give it a solid... I would give it... either an 8 or 7.5.
Okay. I would give it an 8.
Yeah.
Even though there are problems with the movie, some of the... which I kind of find almost fit the movie's tone, the silly scenes where you can tell it's a small, tiny set, or it's clearly a background,
Yeah.
like the balloon, the hot air balloon that
Yeah.
Agatha is on, the boat that young Descoin is on,
Yeah.
where you can tell it's just like a tiny little set
Right.
going along. It's cute, but, but it's not really believable, which is kind of a fault to the movie, but I find it kind of endearing and charming.
Right, yeah. It's similar to Arsenic and Old Lace, but
Without the craziness.
there is a completely different...
Okay, how do you liken it to Arsenic and Old Lace then?
I know there's something about it that's similar. I think it's
The
probably
death aspect? The murder?
Right, all the murders, all the death going on, but also the atmosphere, the dark atmosphere that it has.
Yeah.
But it's completely different in the humor side of it,
Yeah.
because Arsenic and Old Lace
Plays it for
is
kookiness.
like wacky. Yeah, all these people are absolutely crazy.
Except for one
and
character.
Things that happen are insane and would never happen in real life.
Yeah.
Whereas Kind Hearts and Coronets is these little like witty remarks throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And
It's almost flipped.
right, yeah. I think one of them is making light of something that's dark, and the other is making dark of something that is light.
Yes.
And I think Kind Hearts
kind
and
of light.
Coronets
Kind
is
of-
making...
Dark out of dark.
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's about it.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think
It's-
so.
It plays more to the sadistic side of humanity, certainly.
I didn't recognize, and I still don't know who he is, the main character in that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know who that actor is.
Look him up.
Yeah, I will. But I kind of like the fact that he was so calm
Mhm.
and collected all the way throughout the movie.
Yeah.
The murders didn't even bother him or faze him. He's just
It's-
I've got this thing I gotta do.
Yeah.
I made a promise to my mom. and
It's almost a little creepy at some points.
A little
he's,
bit.
He's so good at it. It doesn't faze him really at all.
No.
He just moves on right to the next thing, and he's so firm in his goal. He's not shaken about really anything, and he's so manipulative of the world around him
Okay.
to use people to his advantage.
Dennis Price.
What else is he
his
in?
name. He's in Tunes of Glory.
Don't know it.
That's another Alec Guinness film.
Hmm.
Might be a future Scabby Hayze Podcast
Might.
episode. He's also in A Canterbury Tale, which I have heard of, but I don't know that much about it.
Oh.
Twins of Evil, Theater of Blood, Hungry Hill, The Naked Truth. The Naked Truth? That's Peter Sellers. Hang on a minute. Let me make sure that he's actually starring in these movies and
Interesting.
Google isn't being retarded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to IMDb.
The
Scabby Hayze
I want to
friend.
know what he's known for.
Yeah.
The first movie that pops up is Kind Hearts and Coronets, so
Okay.
I'm assuming that's probably his
His lead role.
his famous. Yeah. Whoa, he acted in 150 films.
Dang.
He's in Son of Dracula
Don't know it.
and Theater of Blood. I think I already said that. That's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland?
Sweet. Sounds like we should watch it.
I don't know. He's in a ton of creepy stuff.
Sweet.
Dracula, Prisoner of Frankenstein.
I bet-
That kind of looks like Vincent Price.
I bet he could do that. I bet he could pull off a good creepy. He's got...
Yeah, I
He-
mean he can. He's got that
coldness to him.
Yeah, I like that though.
Yeah, like I said,
Not in real people, but I
Yeah.
like to watch those kind of characters because they have so much potential in their feelings because they don't care about anybody.
Yeah.
They don't care what they do. They don't care about their consequences. They know that they're right. They're so arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird, but I like that in a character in the movie because that makes them unpredictable.
Yeah.
Because then you wonder, well, do they actually even care about that person,
Yeah.
or are they gonna do anything, or
As deplorable as he is sometimes, he's extremely fun to watch.
right? Yeah, it makes it entertaining.
Yeah, he's hard to love, but he's hard to hate.
Yeah. We need to watch some of these.
I
They
know.
all look kind of good.
I found this film, I want to say a couple weeks back. I was looking for films kind of like Lady Killers, and so I went through Alec Guinness's movie record. I was just kind of skimming through, and I was like, Hearts and Coronets, what's this? And I was like, Alec Guinness plays 12 characters. That's got to be interesting. I should watch that. Maggie,
Huh?
would you recommend this film?
I would definitely recommend it. If you enjoy murder stories, crime thrillers, highly recommend.
Yeah.
And I assume I'll probably be watching it again sometime down the line.
Okay.
Because I feel it will probably get better if I
Probably.
watch it again.
Yeah.
And I liked it the first time,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I'll probably like it a little bit more if I watch it a second time.
Because
Plus, I want to, now that I know the story,
you
I
get
wa-
to pick up a little bit more on it.
right, I
'cause
want
I
to see
did
the
that.
details, yeah.
I didn't notice the first time I watched it, but early on in the film it shows
Oh,
Louis and Sabella in school, and one of the first kids that show up is his so-called rival. I wish I could remember his name. Not really a rival, but the man who Sabella later marries. And I didn't catch that before.
oh, yeah.
It's the kid who gets the
Oh.
answer wrong. That's him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even mention that. If you hadn't said that, then I
Mhm.
would have noticed it the second time.
There
I
were
watched
just
it.
little things that I did pick up on the second time viewing. So you would recommend it to
I
fans
recommend
of-
it to anybody,
Really?
but unless I knew that they didn't like crime movies.
Mm-hmm. I would recommend
Or
this.
old movies, because
yeah.
there are some people who don't like old movies,
I don't
and
get that.
they will even say, "Oh, is it a black and white?"
Mhm.
And that bothers them for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't either, because I enjoy old movies
Mm-hmm.
just as much as I do the recent ones. They're so different.
They are different. It's strange
it's-
how movies have changed in time. Like we said, the editing, it's not a lot of quick cuts to expressions, faces, and this is
Right.
happening, that's happening. There's long takes, and you really have to pay attention to the story.
Yeah.
And I like that.
It's a little bit set up more like a play,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, because it was closer to the period where when you wanted entertainment, then you went to a stage and you watched people perform live.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
And so they kind of kept in that, and that's what their
kind of. Movies were...
definition of acting was.
Yeah. Movies were still very much trying to figure out what they were. Even though this
Right.
is 49, they had definitely gotten a hold of a lot of movie attributes
Right.
and ideas,
But being so much closer to the beginning of film than
Mhm.
what we have nowadays.
which is
And also
extremely
I
different.
believe, or I think personally, that people's attention spans have gotten way shorter over time.
Yeah.
We have all this new entertainment and all this stuff to keep our attention,
Mhm.
make sure, like commercials and things that are fast paced, all these new conveniences.
Mhm.
Convenience is such a big thing nowadays that people don't even have to try to pay attention. They have it
Yeah.
laid out for them. And back then you had, the long takes and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Even though I'm not sure because for that reason, I'm not sure I'd be able to recommend it to everybody, but people who do enjoy films or old films, I would recommend it to. People who enjoy quirky movies or dark comedies, certainly.
right.
But yeah, that's a film recommendation from Pinj and Maggie.
Go watch Kind Heads.
Kind of heads.
Go watch Kind Hearts and Coronets. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. And this episode might be uploaded a little later. Sorry about that. Maggie and I were at McGee Marsh on the day we normally record because we just gotta go see birds.
Yeah, we went to go look at some birds, and we saw a lot of them.
Yeah, in the rain.
Yep, it poured rain. Pinj got soaked.
Yeah.
I got wet too, not as wet as Pinj.
Yeah. And, this is kind of a side note from the rest of the episode, but Maggie tried Chick-fil-A for the first time. I don't know how you got away from it for so long.
I don't know either, because when I was in Tennessee, I had many chances where I could have gone to Chick-fil-A, and I didn't, and I don't know why. But I was busy
you probably
eating
regret it now.
at Zaxby's.
Oh.
Yeah, I do. Well, Zaxby's is amazing, though.
I haven't had Zaxby's.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I think Chick-fil-A has better fries and better chicken than Zaxby's, but Zaxby's has these fried cheese curds and fried pickles, and you cannot beat them anywhere. You can't find anything as good.
A&W has good cheese curds.
Yes it does, but Zaxby's is like on the top of the list.
Well, I wouldn't know. I haven't had Zaxby's, so thanks for making me hungry
good.
for cheese curds now.
Right, well, tune in next week to hear us play music.
Improv music on a mandolin and guitar.
Maybe we'll bring back the banjo.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe you should tell us if you liked it or not.
Yeah. Tell us if you like it, the banjo.
And tell us what you think about our music. Tell us if we suck.
Yeah. Let us know if we're the worst musicians
Or
alive.
tell us if you want to, like, sign us up for some records.
Some contracts.
Know? Yeah.
We will write a song about
They're
basically
like,
anything.
You should check out all our social.
Yeah, we got Twitter and Instagram and
YouTube. And TuneIn and iTunes and Podbean and Twitter and Instagram.
And Spotify.
And peace out.
See ya, folks.